Welcome back to Alpha Access, everyone. In today's episode, I'll be showing you the ins and outs of the last two advanced building tools, the paint tool and the line tool. I'll also be showing you how to create your very own spiral staircase tower. So stay tuned. Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Alpha Access, EverQuest Landmark. Today we're going to be going over the last two advanced tools, the paint tool and the line tool. So let's get started. The paint tool is pretty easy, it's pretty straightforward. You're basically going to be changing the material of one thing into something else. So I've got a couple cubes here I just set up as a quick template, quick little test, and I've got this big round square here, and we're going to change parts of this into these different types of materials with our paint tool. The only stipulation being is that you need to have the material at least gathered. So as long as you've got the material, you can change anything into something else. So I'm going to come over here with my selection tool, select an area. That looks fine. And then I'm going to hold down, as a quick note, I'm not sure if I went over this before, but if you hold down Alt, you can see the icon changes to this cube here with that light shining from it. This is going to sample whatever your mouse is over. So I'm going to switch this over to, I believe that's stucco or some sort of sandstone. So I'm going to click on that. And I don't really see anything, but when I go in to change this with the paint tool, it's going to use this last item I had selected here, this last material. And that's what's going to change it to. So we come over here and hit 9 to our paint tool, and then you can see it changes to a turquoise color. And then we just click, and I'll hit escape. And there we go. It's changed this ground into the last material I had selected. Now you don't have to do it that way. You can also come over here into your materials list and change it to whatever you'd like. Change it to something amaranthine. The thing I can't pronounce. There we go. I'm going to come back here, going to make another selection. Going to come back to my paint tool. Turns turquoise. I just click. And there we go. Now we've got amaranthine texture right in the middle of our stucco sandstone. And we could just keep on doing this all day. And once again, just to recap real quick, we'll select the selection tool, hold down Alt, left click over a material you want to change or you'd like to have selected. I'm going to go with this, I believe that's iron. And we'll select an area again. Go to our paint tool and then left click. And there you go. So the paint tool can be pretty powerful if you've crafted something kind of cool and you don't like the material of it and you want to swap it out real quick. As long as you've got the material, you can do that. Alright, that about does it for the paint tool. Like I said, it's pretty easy, pretty straightforward. Next up is another very powerful tool in the line tool. It can be a little tricky to use, but we'll go through that real quick. Basically what it does is it looks like just like the selection tool, the add and the minus tool. But if you middle mouse drag, you can change out the base scale. What you're going to want to do is decide on a base width. We'll go medium size here. We'll left click once. And as you can see, it starts turning green. And what we're going to do with this second selection here is snap it to something else. And now you can start to see the shape it's going to take once you've clicked one more time. So I'm going to find something that I kind of like. Also, you can see it changing colors here. Yellow means you're not going to get the most pristine shape out of it. It'll be close, but there's going to be some jaggies and it won't look exactly perfect. Green, on the other hand, will look nice and smooth. So if I click here now, there we go. When I click there now, it's nice and smooth and it's there's no jagged, there's no straight edges or anything like that. It's really nice and clean. So I'm going to undo that and we're going to do the same thing, but this time we're going to make it yellow. So we're just going to come over, there we go. Ooh, and it's just not liking that. Okay, come on. There we go. It still looks pretty good, but when you start going at extreme angles, you can start seeing some artifacting. And it doesn't always look amazingly pretty there. We can kind of see it down here at the bottom. That's not too bad, actually. So, things you can use with this tool is making things like rooftops. If you want to do a sort of template for some stairs or ramps, things like that. It's perfect for that. Make another one, do a different height. What you can also do is you're not stuck to this unified width here. You can middle mouse drag once you've dragged up and snapped to another object. Same idea where it scales down that second square. So you can scale things up and down. Place it, and there you go. And then as you can see up here at the top, because it wasn't green in the most perfect shape, it did get a little jaggy. But you can fix that up. It's not that big of a deal. So let's go even higher with this one. We'll undo that real quick. Scale up my selection size, big as I'd like. Go up to the highest point, try this out. We'll scale it down a little bit. Let's go medium size. Click, and there it is. So you can change the height, width, angle, all that kind of good stuff. A lot of people have been using this to make sort of like thatched roofs on top of towers and things like that. A pretty awesome tool. And then we can always come back here with our paint tool, make a selection, hold down Alt, click on this wood texture, go to our add tool, click on that selection, and there we go. Oops, I'm sorry, not add tool. Paint tool, there we go. And then I've just painted in a wood texture in the middle of this grassy ramp here. So there you go, that's basically the line tool in a nutshell. As you can see, you can come up with some pretty fancy shapes, some really cool ramps, some roofing, whatever you can think of, some pretty crazy designs you can start taking away here. I mean, who knows, we can just start making some funky shapes. Sure, that looks good. We'll just delete that. There we go. Who knows? I don't know what it is. But as you can see, you start making some really cool stuff. Alright, that pretty much does it for the paint and line tool. And I consider these under the advanced because the line tool, if we come down to our forge real quick, it's going to hop down. Luckily, there's no death penalty or fall damage. Thank you. Alright, I'm going to come over here to my most advanced forge. And you do not get access to this line tool until you've built yourself an amaranthine forge. It takes elemental cobalt, sapphire, and cobalt ingots to make. And it doesn't take too long, but it is a little bit of a grind right now to try and get all the materials, not just for the building tool. That's actually fairly small in requirements. There's actually quite a bit required to go ahead and get this amaranthine forge. I don't know if I mentioned in the previous episode, but to get an amaranthine forge, you've got to get worked amaranthine. And basically you need to get raw amaranthine, so you can come over here to your gold trim workbench and then refine it into worked amaranthine. So the requirements are a little bit hefty, but once you have everything unlocked, you've got access to all the building tools. Alright, and as you might have noticed, I've started building out my claim a little bit. We'll come around the front and I can show you guys. Definitely a work in progress. I'll come over here to the side of the hill. And I'm trying to make it very castle looking. And I've fondly called it Tower von Strahz, although it may change to Castle von Strahz, we'll see. But in our next bit, I'm going to show you guys how I made this circular tower. I mean, one circular tower is not that big a deal, but let's take a look inside. Oh, come on, get to the top here. Well, we can just run in this way. So I've made a hollowed circle, extended it up with an interior hollow circle, and made a spiral staircase. This technique was posted on the forums by Vakuum. I'll give you guys a link in the description below. He's got some really great building techniques. I highly recommend any of you who are in Landmark to check those out. And I followed along with his tutorial and a little bit of a help with an outside website for coming up with some voxel designs, and I'll show you guys that here in a minute. Alright folks, we're going to check out how I made that tower real quick. And the first thing you want to do is figure out how big you want to make it. And basically we're going to go based off voxel size. This is a 16 by 16 circular voxel. And I basically just used the add tool. I minimized it down to be 1 voxel in size. I also had the help with a voxel creation site. I'll leave the link in the channel below. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head right now. But basically what you can do on that site is put in a number, 8 by 8, 10 by 10, 12 by 12, 32 by 32 if you really wanted to. And then it shows you a quick little image here and how many voxel sizes you need to make something a perfect circle. As perfect as you can with voxels. So that's what I did. I basically completed this guy one by one. I took a look at the image and I just started placing these blocks down based on that reference. And it might have been a little bit slow in the beginning, but this is essentially how I did it. Just placing these guys down. And I went all the way around till I had a nice semi-perfect circle like this. I'm going to undo those last few steps. Once I had that down, I saved out a template of it. As you can see, it's called here, where did I put it? And there it is, part 1 outer tower, and this is what I placed down on the ground. Once I had a nice template for what I wanted, I came back to my part 1 outer tower, hit place, and then you can just go up and just keep adding to give it some more depth. What I like doing too with this tool is standing on top of the outermost edge of it, because sometimes this can be a little bit tricky with the way the camera works right now in Landmark. And you just keep clicking, middle mouse dragging up. And don't forget, if you hit tab, you can change the direction here if it's not exactly lining up for you. Go forward and back, up and down, and left and right. Get this back to be lined up. And you can also hit shift tab to rotate it in the different axes. Right now it's a perfect circle, so you can't really tell. But you can change the axis as well. I could turn this, flip it up on its side, and then flip it this way as well. So I did a quick test. I'm going to go back to the translate here. Go back to up and down. Keep adding a few, a bit more elevation to this. But you get the idea. I made this pretty tall. A lot taller than this. But I wanted to test it. So I came over here with my selection tool. Made a big enough selection. Scaled it out. Made sure I had 1 voxel depth here on the outside so we get that nice smoothing. If you guys saw my last episode, you'll know what I mean. If you leave the selection size here, it's just going to leave this outer edge as a hard surface, and we don't want that hard edged. We want to smooth everything. So we've got 1 voxel on each side, nice little cushion. We'll also do 1 on top. And 2 on top, doesn't really matter. As long as you've got 1, you're good. And then we'll go all the way down to the floor here. And there we go. And then we'll come over here with our smooth tool. And we're going to click a bunch of times. And as you can see, it starts smoothing it out. Almost there. I think that's about as far as we're going to be able to go. Alright, once that was done, I lowered my selection. I basically want the cleanest part of this rounded tower now. Scale this up. And then I want to get rid of that 1 extra voxel buffer here. Because when you copy and paste this guy or place it from your template, it's also going to keep in mind the data it has around this selection. So if you got things next to it like a wall, it'll actually delete this outer edge here that you've placed, which isn't cool. So just to avoid that, snap your selection to your sides really quick. Doesn't take you that long. Once I did that, I got the selection where I wanted it. I found the smoothest part of the tower that I liked. I came back over here, saved it out as part 2 smooth outer tower. Now that that's done, I'll show you the next step. Alright, now that I tested out that tower and saw how smooth it could be, I want to make the inside of it now. So we have this nice hollowed out tower. And just to clarify too, this larger outer ring that I made is a 32 by 32, and this inner one is a 16 by 16. So it's 16 voxels wide by 16 voxels long. So now that I have that, I needed to have a nice reference for the inner tower. So once I did that, using the same technique where I just went with my added tool and did the exact way I did the outer tower, just placing 1 voxel at a time. Yeah, it's time consuming, but as you can see, you can get some really nice shapes out of it. That's basically how I made the inner tower, and I did the same technique. Where we come over here to our template. I believe it was part 3 inner tower. I placed it, and then started adding some height to it. There we go. And the exact same format, coming over here with our selection tool. Selecting as much as we can. Alright, that looks good. And just like before, just keep clicking with the smooth tool till we get a nice rounded surface. Alright, that looks pretty good. And then with the selection tool, you might actually want to go a little bit higher than this too. You probably want to go about double the height, just so you're for sure having a nice clean selection of an inner smoothed out tower. And I'm going to make sure the selection is snapped right to the edge of this tower. We're getting rid of that one voxel buffer because we're not smoothing. We just want a clean template selection. Alright, that isn't the most cleanest selection, but you get the idea. You basically want to avoid any sort of tapered edge like this corner over here, or things bowing out at the bottom like this. I don't know if you guys can see that. You can start seeing some jaggies here. So I did the same thing, came over here to my template tool, or the template window, created a new, and I believe I called that guy just small inner tower. And once I had those, I was ready to place both of these guys and start stacking to build up the height of the tower. I'll show you that next. Okay, now that I've made a selection of both towers, I've got the inside and the outside. I was ready to place this guy down and start building the height. What I was also going to do is build this up to a certain height where I could start building my spiral staircase. I'm going to make sure we're on the ground. It looks like we're flush, okay. Also, like I mentioned, I believe I mentioned this in a previous video, you can see how even though you've got a smoothed out tower, when you initially bring it in with the template tool, or the template icons and stuff, it comes in all jaggy. If you just hit Shift Tab and rotate it once, you can see it goes back to smoothing it out. I'm not sure why it does that, but again, it's alpha. It can be a little bit buggy. And if you spin too many times, oh, there we go. Got to find the magic rotation. But we'll plop that down. And there we go. We've got a nice circular tower with a nice circular hollowed out inside. And it's just wide enough for us to have our avatar here be able to walk around inside it. Of course, you can make these any size you want. You don't have to be stuck with 32 by 32 or 16 by 16. You can make this almost the entire size of your claim if you felt so inclined. That'd actually be kind of cool. I'd love to see something like that. Anyway, now I've got this guy here. And I want to start making my spiral staircase. This will probably be the longest part, but I'll show you guys a quick tip here. So I'm going to come back. I want to duplicate this guy. Our part 5 circle combined. And we're going to place it. And you can see where this starts getting a little bit tricky. I'm going to hit Tab. I'm going to move this. Try to line it up as best I can. I'm going to hit Shift Tab to rotate it. I like rotating in green or Y. There we go, nice and smooth. I'm going to hit Shift Tab again. Hit Tab. Move it towards me. Hit Tab again, be able to move it up and down. Then I'm going to plop it right on top of itself. And you see it's not entirely perfect. You do start getting a little bit of these jaggies. A little bit of voxel error data, but it's close enough. And what stone tower have you seen that's perfect? I sure as have not seen anything old school and medieval that looks perfectly smooth. Either way, we've doubled the size of our tower now. And the point I'm trying to get to is we want this tower to be about 11 voxel units in height. And I'll show you a reason for that here in a second. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to grab my selection tool. I'm going to move this up. I'm going to scale this up. And you can see the number right here. It says 5 voxels. I'm going to get that up there to 11. Okay, we'll make sure we're flush with the ground. That looks good. And then I'm going to fill it here with just about anything. I'm going to use this dirt here. I'm going to go back to my add tool and just fill this square. So I got a marker here, a visual marker for how high I need to make these stairs here. I'm going to come back in with my selection tool. I'm going to scale this out. And we're not smoothing or anything here. I'm basically just going to chop off the top of this tower. There we go. That looks about right. Go with my delete tool. Click on that. Cut that off. Alright, that looks about right. So now we've got about the height we want for our spiral staircase. And this is the part that actually took me the longest. Making this circle. Sure, making the initial voxel, the right size voxel circle, one brick at a time, took a little bit of time. But once you got it down, it actually went pretty quickly. What I found to be the longest part is making this type of spiral staircase. So I'll come in here with the add tool at 1 voxel size. You don't want to go any bigger than that. You could if you wanted to, but again, this is just one technique. There are lots of them out there. I enjoyed this one because it was 1 voxel in height, so your guy can easily walk up it. I'm going to come in here and choose wood. I'm going to go with horizontal grain plain wood. And then what you're going to want to do here is come to the quarter edge of the circle. As close as you can. We're going to zoom in a little bit. And I think that looks about right. Yep, you can see we're now flush with the top of this tower. At least as it stands right now. And we're going to make this spiral staircase go all the way down to the other quarter of the circle, somewhere down here. So what I like doing was coming all the way across with this top one. And then this is the tricky part. I want to come one down from that. One down one more time. And then we're going to go one down and then in with this one. Somewhere right there. I believe there's one more down. And another one in. One more down. There we go. You basically want to do this all the way down to the very bottom. And then one more down and one more out. And do we get that right? Yeah, that's close enough. It gets the idea across. And then it came down here and filled out the bottom step. And like I said, you don't have to do it this way. But I found it to be pretty effective. Are we flush with the ground? It looks like it, yeah. So as you can see, the tricky part is like snapping this one voxel cube to what you just made. That's the part that was probably the trickiest and took the longest amount of time. Sort of fighting the interface just a little bit and trying to snap your voxels to the right area. We won't make this perfect for the... I don't want to bore you guys, but as you can see, I just came over here and continued flushing out the steps. Zoom out a little bit here so you guys don't have to look at my bald head. I'm just going to build this out. Just like this, and we're going to start curving how steep this is around the corner. I'm going to go all the way down just like that. Keep building towards the other wall a little bit forward so you get a nice spiral staircase effect. There are other techniques out there, and I highly recommend you guys checking out the link provided below for the other examples. But this will definitely get you started. Once you've got your spiral staircase in there, and you got a nice sized tower that you like, you're happy with the width of this circle. Then come back and make another template of this guy. So come out with your selection tool, select the entire thing, make sure you're nice and tight. You don't want to be one voxel out on this. Usually one voxel out is just for like smoothing. Make sure you're flush with the ground. Make sure you're all the way high enough to the top of the tower. And then come into your template tool and just hit create new. And once you've got that, you can come back to your newly finished tower template. And we're going to place it. I made mine a little bit higher. Actually, you know what? We'll bring it down here. For the purposes of my castle here, I wanted to have something coming from the base. I haven't quite fleshed out this bottom floor yet, but we will. But for the purposes of this tutorial, I'll show you real quick. I'm going to place this guy. I'm going to shift tab, circle it to make sure it's nice and smooth. That looks fine. And we're going to plop it down. And we can use that same technique. Come back up to the top. This part can also be a little bit tricky. As you can see, you're going to want to rotate the template around to make sure that your staircases line up. This part is a little bit tricky. It is a little bit buggy. But for the most part it works. And you can see there's still some jagged corners here. And that happens mostly because of the staircases here jutting into the stone, and then the voxel engine trying to calculate it. Either way, we'll come back in here, grab our finished tower, just like we did with the smaller rings and the outer rings and inner ring. We're going to try to line this up as best we can. That looks pretty close. Raise it in height. I'm going to hit Shift Tab to rotate it. There, now it's nice and smooth. And I don't know if you can see this perfectly well, but inside this yellow shape you can sort of make out where my spiral staircase is. So I need to rotate this. Nope, not there, not there. There we go. And we're not completely flush in height, so I'm going to hit Shift Tab again. And then raise it That should do us. And then place it. Now let's see how bad we did. And there you go. There's the basis of making a nice spiraled staircased tower. See, it takes a little bit of setup time. But once you're done, you got something looking pretty cool. And we'll just zoom out here so you guys can take a look. And there we go. And of course, you can treat this just like anything else on your claim. You can come in here with a selection tool and start knocking out some windows. Make this a little bit wider. Delete. There we go. Well, there you have it, folks. Hope you've enjoyed this quick little advanced building tutorial. I'm sure there'll be many more to come, as SOE has noted that these aren't the only tools we'll have access to. What I'm personally hoping for is, I'll give you an example here. It seems to be rather difficult to make something circular or something hollow with a nice rounded out outside edge. So what I'm hoping to do is with this selection tool is have some sort of like, actually we can almost see it here with, I don't know if this is a glitch or not, but this is perfect for what I'm trying to show. I'll just drag this out a little bit. There we go. What I'm hoping for is a selection tool like this, but in the middle is sort of a negative spaced circle that can be non-uniform, so you could scale it up and down so it's not a perfect circle, but you can get some nice arches, things like that. And it doesn't have to be a circle. We could do triangles, trapezoids, whatever. That would be really awesome. Alright, enough blabbering, folks. If you enjoyed the content, feel free to subscribe. If you've got any questions or comments, please feel free to leave me a comment in the comment section below. I'll be happy to get back to you. Again, I'm still learning, but always checking out new techniques and how to make some really cool things here in Landmark. So, folks, until next time, we'll see you later. Take care.